Clicker, perfect. All right, how about that? That was great. So quite a few have gotten some texts from Ed. That's funny. Love it. All right, well, we're going to keep this moving here, but with that said, we do have the bar open, so if anyone wants to drink, feel free to casually make your way up there, but I want to keep this going. I want to stay on time because we are scheduled here. So up next, where is he? There he is, Mr. Jordan Terrell with the Jordan Terrell Group. Jordan's been licensed since 2017. In the last 6 years, he's done over 500 million in volume, sold over 1,000 homes.
Say that again.
Over $500 million in volume, over 1,000 homes, 6 years. We love Jordan. Jordan takes the time to stop by the Chicago title office once a month and talk to us as well. So without further ado, let's bring it up to Jordan. Keep it going. Shout out to Jordan.
They like to call me the Chicago guy. This guy likes to call me Pitbull. Funny story though, we were at Waste Management hanging out a little bit, and somebody actually asked me if I was Pitbull, but I had my Gucci's on, so it kind of played well. But
And it was 4 in the morning.
oh, don't tell him that part. Don't tell him that part. Hey, good to see you guys. Thank you for coming out here today. I just want to say, hey, Kimberly, that listing presentation was amazing. I learned so much from you. And then just want to highlight my man Ed. Guys, there's people out here that run their business, or they sell lots of houses and they make a lot of money, but then there's people that run it like a business. And he just downloaded a bunch of really good stuff for you guys. We have to treat our businesses like businesses. We get paid a lot of money, and so it's really important that we analyze everything and we know our numbers. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about time management. What's ironic about that is that I was supposed to have my slides in by yesterday morning. I got them in at 7 p.m. last night. And somehow I'm supposed to be the time management guy. If you knew anything about me, you'd know that I'm kind of a spaz, and time management isn't something that I'm like, people look at me and go, that guy looks like he's really good at and organized and good with his time. That's not something anyone's ever said to me. But by the time I unpack what I'm getting ready to unpack, you'll understand what I understand about time, and that's what I want to shift your mindset around time management. Because who gets into real estate? People get into real estate because they want more freedom and time, right? That's what everyone says. And then we're all like, sucker. See, you think you're going to get into real estate and have more freedom and time, and it actually doesn't work that way. We get into real estate and all of a sudden we find out that you're one of two people. You're either screwed if you're successful, or you're screwed if you're not. You're screwed if you're successful because you have no time, and you're running around all the time with your head cut off, or you're screwed if you're not because you're broke, everyone's sad. Okay? That's the reality of real estate. And so time is a really important thing for us to understand, because if we're broke, we need to know what to do with it. If we're super successful, we need to know how to manage it all. And so as I think about time, I think about what I jumped into when I first got into the business, and I quickly was like, how do I manage all this? How do I manage some of this stuff? And when you hear that I did 500 million and 1,000 transactions, that wasn't just me. There's an amazing group of partners that I work with that have helped us grow this. But it really comes down to some singular ideas that I'm going to share with you for the next few minutes. I got my slides here. Oh, we don't have slides. Wrong way. There we go. See, that's the picture that I got taken a few years ago, and then I had updated ones, and I was like, I want to keep the old one. You guys have those? Where you're like, I don't like the new one. I liked how I used to look when I was younger. You know what I'm talking about, all you realtors with your old headshots. All right, so talking about time management, here's the deal. How is it that we have all these tips and tricks, tools and technology, calendars, checklists, all these things, and we still feel like we're never able to keep up? I mean, we are running faster as a society. We're moving faster as a society than we ever have before, and we can't keep up with all the things. I mean, we have systems and processes and time management tools, and there's apps and all these different things, and reminders and screen time and all this stuff, and yet we still can't stay ahead, right? How is it? And I think it's because we look at time management incorrectly. I think when you look at your tools and your tricks and your technology and all the checklists and calendars and all the things that you have, you're looking at them logically, right? We think about time management from a logical place. Makes sense. I have to do this at this time, and I have to do this at the next time, and then I build out my schedule. But the problem with us in this business is that logic doesn't dictate our schedule. Emotion, anxiety, fear, stress, all those things actually dictate our schedule. So we have a logical process that's been in front of us, but yet we're emotionally completely tied to our schedule. And I'll prove it to you. You've been at that soccer game watching your kid, and because of fear of losing a deal, you take the call and you walk away, right? Or it's like this anxiety of maybe not getting the next deal, or something's falling apart, or the appraiser didn't do his job, and all of a sudden you're just like emotional, and your calendar is like completely losing its control over you, right? And we just look at things from an emotional place. And here's the reality, is that we can't really manage time. It's a dumb idea in the first place. Like, you can't control time. Like, time is what it is. So I would call it more self-management, right? You can manage you. You can manage how you respond to different things. And so when we look at time management, I want to take you on a little history lesson real fast. Not that I'm a historian, but I know enough to know that over the last few years, there's been some developments around time management. In the 60s, they came up with this really brilliant idea to manage time. And it was called the to-do list. It's a singular dimension idea, one-dimensional. And they thought, man, if we could just organize all the things that we actually have to do, then we can get it all done. Yeah, that makes sense. We can just organize it, and it doesn't really give us more time, but it's all about efficiency, right? A to-do list is all about being more efficient, so you know what you're doing, what you're not doing. And then some really smart people with all the big, giant computers in the 80s, they came up with this two-dimensional idea called urgent versus important. The y-axis versus the x, and I have urgent things and I have important things, and I take all the urgent things and I put them at the top, and then we take the important things and we put them at the bottom. And this is all about prioritization. Like, you're not actually getting more time, you're just trading things. You're just moving stuff from the bottom, putting it at the top. And so you end up with a never-ending important to-do list because you're constantly responding to urgent. Who responds to urgent stuff all day long as a real estate agent? Like, it just kind of flies at you, right? And so when I think about these two types of processes, the one thing it doesn't do for us is it doesn't give us more time. You see, the future is all about saving time, not money. Like, when we head into the future, as we start looking at how do we manage our time, it's all about how do we create more? How do we save some of our time and actually prioritize it in some new ways? And I mean, how many of you guys will spend so much time trying to save money? Like, you're on the phone with Comcast trying to get them to drop your internet bill from $79 to $59 because you saw some ad on Facebook and you feel like you're getting screwed, so you wait on hold for 2 hours to save $20 a month. Like, we will negotiate and spend so much time just trying to save dollars, but we fail to realize the actual cost of time. Because the cost of time is way more important, way more valuable than some dollar you're going to save on your Comcast bill, or you're trying to negotiate with the sewer guy, like the price is given time. Time is so important. You're trying to save your clients some money. It's probably more time effective for you just to pay the upside charge than to give your time to try to beat something so you get it cheaper. I mean, think about it. Like, we spend so much money as a society, like as employers, on financial budgeting, financial planning. Our P&Ls are all about money. The one item that's not on the P&L is time. We don't talk about time, we just talk about money. And we focus so much about how much we're making, how much we're spending, how much we're losing. But did you know that the average American wastes 2.09 hours per day in their workday? So if their average workday is 8 hours, That means 25% of their day is wasted. It's a lot of time. And so if these employers just thought for a second, because they're like trying to figure out how to save money on like, I don't know, what kind of coffee should we buy? And is the copy machine paper the right cost? And if they just actually focused on productivity, they would increase their productivity by 25% by helping their employees actually do more with their time. It's the biggest line item on the P&L is employees, is labor. Time. Time is so stinking valuable. So I want to propose, and this isn't my idea, this is just me kind of studying and researching. I'm like one of those guys that will listen to podcasts and YouTube videos, and I listen to leadership stuff all the time, and so I've just kind of taken a lot of stuff in over the years. But this is kind of the modern way of thinking about time management. It's the multiply time management, with the emphasis on the multiply time. We have to start thinking about time management more from a framework of how do I make more time? How do I create more time? I mean, because technically we can't create more time. There's 24 hours in a day, 1,440 minutes, 86,400 seconds, right? Like there's a lot of time, but we can't create more. But what if we could multiply it just by thinking differently? So the old way, urgency, how soon doesn't matter, importance, how much doesn't matter. The third piece, this is the three-dimensional trick that we're adding to it, is the significance calculation. How long doesn't matter. When we look at our to-do list, things are going to be immediately important. That's urgent. Like, we have to fix this right now. And then there's stuff that's just important because it's just important. And then there's stuff that we look at our to-do list and we go, man, this is something that's going to continually be something that we have to address. It's an ongoing, so it's going to matter forever. It's never going to go away. And when we look at it with that three-dimensional mind, all of a sudden we start processing our to-do list and our time differently. And so if you really want to dive into how do you multiply time, you really have to understand this principle here. Every one of your to-do lists have to go through these three things. You can either eliminate it, you can automate it, or you can delegate it. Everything. You look at it, eliminate is saying no. Automate is creating a process. Delegate is leverage, right? But for any of this to actually matter to you, we first have to understand the financial value of time. So let's talk about the financial value of time. Who in here knows what their dollar per hour is? It is incredibly important for you and anybody on the planet to know what their time hourly is worth. So here's how you do it. You take however much money you made last year, minus the weeks that you took off. So we'll just call it, you took off 4 weeks, which would be 48, because there's 52 weeks last time I checked. And you have 48 weeks, you divide your total income. I don't care if you do gross or net or whatever, it doesn't matter. You decide that. You divide it by those 48 weeks, and then you divide it by however many hours you typically work in a week. And that's your dollar per hour. And I'm just going to help some folks in here. If you did about 120,000 in commission, you're probably looking at $50 an hour. If you did a $250,000, you're probably looking at $100 an hour. If you did 500,000 in GCI, you're looking at about $200 an hour. $1 million last year, you're probably looking at about 400. That's your hourly rate. That's your value. And what I'm trying to communicate to you, if you're a real estate agent, you're making doctor, attorney-like money. And we're the only industry in the entire world that can make that kind of money and be a solo person, where we do all these jobs. And it blows my mind. Like, as soon as I got into this business, I was like, I hired a coach month one, hadn't sold a house, because I was like, I don't know what to do. My brokerage I joined at the time were like, hey, we don't do any training. I was like, okay, what do I learn? And they were like, and I was like, cool, what am I paying you for? Cool. And so, YouTube. So we're solo agents, we have 13 different jobs, and most of us think we're really good at it. And I'm here to tell you that you're not. You're not good at everything. And so here I was, I hired a coach, hadn't sold a house yet. I put 2 homes under contract and I was like, oh shit. And I hired an admin. I was like, this is too much work. I'm not good at all these things. And I just focused on what I was good at. And so when we understand the financial value of time, all kinds of things change for us. The way we make decisions, the way we think. Because you start looking at your time as a valuable indicator of what we should do. And so now let's go break this down a little further. Eliminate the power of saying no. You can make so much money by saying no. You can make more money by saying no than by saying yes. I had a mentor that said it's either a hell yes or it's a hell no. So if it's not like a, oh my gosh, hell yes, then it's always a no. But there's so many times that we get something on our task list and we just do it because we think we're supposed to do it at the top of the list and we're just like, and this is why some of us need to take Adderall. I just took one an hour ago, we're all good. We need to be willing to say no. Because here's a table, and this table's full of plates. Every time I say yes, something else has to come off that table. So sometimes you just need to say no. Do I even need to do this task? Is this some kind of control freak inside of me that thinks that I need to do something? Right? So there is so much power in just eliminating. The second one is automate. The power of creating systems. I mean, systems are incredible leverage. I mean, unless you live under a rock, you've been hearing about ChatGPT. I was reading this morning that you can set ChatGPT on a API with Zapier to create social media posts for you. That's pretty cool. I mean, I don't know if it's good. I don't know what they're going to post. It's a robot, but we're in the session 1 of this. It can get better. But my point is that there's automations that you could create that can save you time. So let's do some math for a second. If I challenged you, let's just say that you're the $200 an hour individual. And I said, hey, do you think if you gave 8 hours of your time, this is going back to the significance calculation, how long is this going to matter? Is this going to continue to be an issue? Is this going to continue to bring itself to my to-do list? If you were to invest some time, for let's just say 8 hours, so you're $200 an hour, you're 8 hours in, that's $1,600 of invested time. But that 8 hours created some automation for you, because automations aren't just easy to create, but you create some system, some process that buys you 1 hour a day. So here's the question. If I told you, raise your hand if you agree, if I gave you, if I said, hey, give me $1,600 and I'll give you $26,000 back, who would say yes to that? You give me $1,600 and I'm going to give you $26,000 back, who would say yes to that? Okay, all right. So you invest 8 hours, you create one automation, it buys you 1 hour a day. That ends up being 260 hours in a year, depending on how many hours you work in a week. That's somewhere between 26 and 32 days worth of value back to you. Could you, if you wanted to, sit down, use your brain, and create some kind of automation, some kind of system that saves you time, creates more time? Because in that 26 days, if your hourly rate is $200, you're looking at somewhere between $26,000 and $50,000 of value. It's called a return on invested time. So automations are incredibly powerful. We use automations all the time. There's a lot of systems, there's a lot of processes. But the more that you leverage technology to help you, the easier your life's going to be. As a team leader, this was just a simple automation that we created early on. I had agents joining my team. I didn't know how to answer all their questions. And so that one would come to me and I would say, hey, let's have this conversation on Zoom. I know you're sitting next to me, it's kind of awkward, we're just gonna both look at the screen. And then I'd hit record, I'd answer their question, re-record it, and then I'd go put it in a Trello board. So when the next agent asked the same question, I would say, hey, can you go watch the video, let me know if you have any questions. Save myself an hour of answering one question. We created a library. Now we have like this, Thinkific University, and it's still always getting updated, but like automations, they save you and create for you lots of time, and your time is valuable. The last one is delegate. The power of leverage. How I sold a lot of houses in a short amount of time is because of leverage. Got licensed February 1st. Sold my first house June 1st. In the next few weeks I put 3 other under contract, had hired an admin. But I understood leverage. I understood that I'm not good at everything. How can I focus all of my time on the highest dollar producing activities? And so I hired this admin to help me with transactions. She wasn't licensed. I didn't even know how to work CTM, and neither did she. So I was training her, and she was training me, and it was a mess. But guess what? Where was my focus? It was all on it was all on creating more transactions. So quickly out of the gate, from June 1st to December 31st, I sold 30 homes in the second half of my first year. 0 homes in the first half. Because I leveraged and leveraged and leveraged and leveraged. Who's heard of the phrase lead versus lag? Lead indicating activities versus lag. For me, it's a simple way for me to just visualize it, is the game of golf. Everything that happens from here to here is your lead indicating activities. You don't get to control what happens from here. This is the only part of the golf swing that you control. So the more technical you are, the more skilled you are, the better the lag will be. Lag is our closings. Lag is our checks. Lag is all the things that we do. So now we have to analyze, what in this process should I be focusing on? So just as an exercise, seriously, you guys should go do this when you get home. Go home and write down all the things that you do. Literally every single little task. Like scheduling showings, delivering lockboxes, managing staging. I mean, I know agents that actually stage the house themselves. Why? Why would you do that? I mean, like, it doesn't make any sense to me. That doesn't make you more money. So make a list of everything that you do. And then I want to take another piece of paper and draw a line through the middle of it. On the upper right-hand corner, I want you to write $200 per hour. On the left-hand side, I want you to write $20 per hour. And I want you to drag and drop everything to where they fall. What is a $20 activity and what is a $200 activity? And then when you get done, I want you to rip that page in half. And then I want you to give one to yourself, the $200 one, that's your job description. The other one is for the admin you're getting ready to hire. That's how you make a lot more money. That's how you manage time. That's how you understand the power of delegate, the power of leverage. We have to be people that understand that our time is really, really valuable. And if you spend it doing all these things that you're not good at, we have these incredible partners here that are sponsoring this event. I leverage the heck out of my relationships with Chicago Title. I mean, Gavin has an amazing team on the mortgage side. I mean, Rocket Lister's here. We use Rocket Lister. They will write your MLS listing. They will take photos, install your lockbox, install the sign. That's called leverage. Why would we do all that? Well, they're not going to do it as good as I can do it. Okay, so hire some people to help you. And let's say there's 7s out of 10. You're a 10 at everything. Let's say that you hire 2 7s. Well, if you take your 10 and their 2 7s, isn't that 24? Right? No one's ever going to be as good as you at everything. But it's really important when we understand time that we get really, really crystal clear on what we're best at. If we can get crystal clear on what we're best at and surround ourselves with people that are good at other things, like if you walked into my office, you would understand quickly why everyone around me has so much job security. Because I'm good at like 2 things. And everyone's like, this guy's screwed without us. And I'm like, yeah, I am. Because we're a team and we work together. and we're all playing our part, we're doing our thing. But the power of leverage is incredibly important. I am so bought in on this idea of leverage, of understanding different gifts. I mean, I about a year and a half ago, we switched brokerages, and I was just, you know what, I'm going to start my own brokerage. I just want to control the process. And in that process, in that journey, interviewing, like just going through the whole thing, we got the legal paperwork, and I realized this isn't a good use of my time. So we partnered with this company called Real Broker and brought them to Dipper, and it's now a growing company here. But the reason why I like Real so much is because it's a platform that just lets me do what I need to do. It's a great company, but they let me do what I need to do, and they take care of the stuff that I don't want to take care of that doesn't make me more money. And I'm so even more double down bought in that we've taken all the systems, all the processes, all the coaching, all the training, all the leverage, and we formed it into this thing called community, which is originally what we were going to call our brokerage. And we've kind of separated it from our team because I just think that there's a lot of agents out there that could use something to kind of be their back end to help them so that they can focus only on selling houses instead of trying to take care of all the minutia. And so now we're not just the Jordan Terrell Group brokered by Real, we're the Jordan Terrell Group powered by community brokered by Real. But I am so bought in on systems. I'm so bought in on leverage. And time management, guys, is so incredibly important, but it has to be thought of from the standpoint of how you multiply it. Because if you multiply it, it's going to change the way you do your business. Now, before I end here, I have a tool that I wanted to give you guys. Something that we did as a team. It ended up being a really good gift to all of us. It's a time analyzer tool where you can input everything that you do for 30-minute increments for about a 2-week period. And then it will give you literally a pie chart graph of how your time was spent, whether you're working on the business, the lead indicating activities, the lag, working in the business, doing all the showings and all the stuff that sucks your time, maintenance, play, distractions, all the different things. It calculates all of it for you. And I just want to give that to you. So if you want to scan this QR code, I'll send it to you. And then I just want to see if there's anybody that has any questions around any of the things that I just shared. This is something that I've been passionate about. It's really, this topic, jokingly aside, you know, I'm not the time management guy, but it's really how I've scaled my business so quickly. It comes down to just how I use my time. Any questions out there? Oh, you are doing good. All right, never mind. It's very good to be with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jordan. Hey guys, thank you. Hey, real quick.